You want an exciting life and a boring relationship. I'm going to repeat this in case you didn't understand me correctly. Yes, you want a boring relationship because only that is going to get you a really exciting life. As INFJs, one of the things we have to be most careful about is the fact that relationships can be our biggest hurdle in life. They can be the thing that will keep us stuck forever. And yes, it comes out the most in our most intimate relationship. So we're talking romantic, we're talking family, we're talking deep friendships. If you are going out of your way in order to have an exciting relationship, there's not going to be any excitement left for your life. And hear me out, because I know it sounds like giving up or settling, because what we want the most is an exciting relationship. What we want the most is this firework that is going on in our world. But you're going to get it because your life overall will be exciting. Let's say you have the perfect relationship and it's full of passion and full of excitement at first. That relationship, if it's a great relationship, it will go to a baseline. It will go to a baseline that is safe, that is secure, where you feel understood and where you feel heard. And guess what? That relationship will feel boring to you. So let's talk about how to get a life where you know exactly, I have won in life. I have everything I always wanted. I'm right there where my life is happening through me. And we all have the capacity to feel that. At that moment, you don't need anything or anybody because you know that you're the master of your own universe. And I know for a fact it's possible for every single one of us. So let's talk about today why leaning into this will get you everything you always wanted. Before we get started, I want to remind you the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp launches October 26th. So if you want to join our amazing community of hundreds of INFJs who've created life-changing results, then check out the links in the description, join the waiting list, see the poster for yourself, and really be part of this incredible experience. Everything you might need, you can find through the links in the description. I see you there. So what is our default mode? Most of the time, we're not creating the life we always wanted, right? So we feel our life is somehow boring. And I've talked about this before, and there are so many INFJs who sort of said, well, my life isn't really boring. I have things that are making it very stressful, actually. I have relationships that are not really giving me what I want. I have a job that is giving me anxiety because it's not paying me enough, and the list goes on and on. This is not a boring life. But the truth is, yes, it is a boring life. It is just a boring and stressful life. Because the way we define a life is that it's peaceful and exciting at the same time. That's what we want. A boring life is a life that is not moving forward. A life that sucks, but sucks all around. Nothing really gets better. Maybe some things get worse or maybe some things get different, but it doesn't feel our life continuously gets better. And that's what we want. We want progress. And then so often when we're in this situation, we see a possible relationship, and that can be romantic, that can be a deep friendship. It is even the connection to our, first caregivers, as in our parents, even when we're adults, that we try to get some excitement out. And there's something we want to fix there. It feels like if I can fix that relationship, if I can fix that person, if I can help them have progress in their life, I will feel like something exciting is happening. But that is where we're wrong. Because every single time you have a relationship that is exciting, it is not a healthy relationship. Think about it. What makes a relationship exciting? It's something that we can't predict. It's something that is different. It is something we cannot really grasp. That is the thing that makes us attached to that person. That is what really makes us feel some kind of dopamine hit. And we are in this illusion that this is something that excites us. I've been there, trust me. And I can even tell you that those were the biggest highs in my life. I'm somebody who has never taken hard drugs, so I cannot tell you what that experience would have been like, but I can tell you for sure these things were the biggest dopamine hits I've ever had. It was exactly relationships that are not really clear, where I feel like, oh, I'm sort of being seen, but not really being seen. There's something that is unpredictable. That is why so many INFJs get attracted to narcissists in some kind of way, because it creates continuous dopamine hits. And we have the illusion that this is something that makes our life worthwhile, but in the end, it might excite us for the moment, but it never really gives us long-term satisfaction. Because again, how would a relationship look like that is healthy? How would a relationship look like where that person chooses you? Where that person not only chooses you, but takes care of the needs you have, of what you would like them to do, of giving you the space to be who you are, of encouraging you, of being proud of you, of seeing you for who you are. You know how that relationship would feel like? Safe. That is not an exciting relationship. That is probably a rather boring relationship. It's a relationship that doesn't change too much, besides the fact that you're both going into the direction you want. So even if it's a romantic relationship, it's like, okay, we both know we want to, become a family in a while. We want to move to a different city. We want to go on vacation together. Like there is some forward movement, but the relationship in itself is a safe and constant space. I saw in a movie actually this quote that it was all about being a parent, and that was like being a parent has to be so safe for the kid that it's boring. And that is actually every relationship we want. And as long as we really go for the things like, oh, I want an exciting relationship, I want a relationship that makes me feel alive, we're missing the point. Because every single relationship that makes us feel alive all the time, and the relationship is the reason why we feel alive, there's always some attachment. There's always something that isn't really healthy. So ask yourself, when was the last time you really had a relationship with somebody that you felt, oh, this is super exciting? And at the same time, you can honestly tell yourself, this is a healthy relationship. I get all my needs met. This is somebody I can trust. This is somebody I feel safe with. And this is somebody that I'm building with. That is a person that is choosing me over and over again. Is this really something you would actively call an exciting relationship? Probably not. So it's about time that we really define this for ourselves without rejecting the idea right away, because it feels like we're settling in life. Every healthy relationship that you can build on that might be exciting at first becomes stable. Otherwise, it's not a healthy relationship. And here is the problem with that. You can choose the toxic relationship. You can choose the relationship that's going to make you feel alive, but you're always going to end up not feeling good about yourself. Think about things that are really obvious. So a gambling addiction, drug addiction, all of those things. Do you think those people don't get highs off of that? Of course they do. We all know that's why they're addictions. But that person is still not living an exciting life. That person doesn't feel like they've won in life. There's no feeling of, I'm not only living out my purpose, I love my life. And think about it. The people who really go into addictions in one way or another, they're escaping their life. They're escaping their life because it's somehow boring. It doesn't mean that they don't have pressure. It doesn't mean that their life is mundane. It can be actually a very stressful life, but it's still not giving you the positive excitement that you're looking for. The more exciting your life is, the more you love your life, the more you're living out your purpose, the less you're going to go towards things that, give you maybe a short-term high, but in the long term, do not make you happy. So first and foremost, before you start creating the life you always wanted, it's about time that we define for ourselves what we want. And what we actually want is an exciting life and a healthy, stable, boring relationship. Because once you know that, you can really define for yourself what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept in a relationship. The relationship is not the solution to our problems. If it was, please tell me. And I encourage every one of you to look through the comments and tell me if there's one INFJ who can give you an example and a proof that they have had this boring life and then they met this one person and that person changed their life forever. And now they have an exciting life. They didn't change really anything about their life per se, but it's that person. And it's healthy, and you feel alive, and you feel like you've won in life. Is that really the case? If that is the case, please create a YouTube video. Please tag me in it. I want to know about it. I want to learn. Because that's not what I've seen so far. That's not what I've experienced. And I'm somebody who's gone all the way. I've told you many times before, I've had such amazing, exciting relationships in a way of how my mind interpreted them and what kind of epic stories came out of it. So I have gone all the way. I have really sacrificed who I am and what I want in order to create that excitement, in order to lean into that dopamine hit. It didn't really get me to where I wanted. Well, it sort of did, because it told me what I wanted most. And what I wanted most was for me to go after my impulses, to be who I always wanted to be, to not let anybody or anything hold me back. Because if my life force is not really used in a way to make me feel alive myself, I'm always going to end up broken on the floor in the corner somewhere, and I have to fight myself back out of it. I've done this enough. I've learned my lesson, and I know better now. So what is the next step? Well, it's about creating an exciting life. It's about looking at your life from the outside and saying that person has won. That person is doing everything they wanted to do. And, that's how we interpret it. It's not like somebody from the outside is going to look at your life and say, oh, that person has won. First off, we don't care. We just don't care if another person thinks that, when it has absolutely nothing to do with how we feel about our life, right? So it's about, if you would look at your life, you would know that you're winning. You would know that you're creating everything you always wanted, that you don't play by anybody else's rules, that you decide what you want and you go for it. Watch the video that came out a couple of days ago where I talk about receiving the insights on what to do and then going after it, because that's how you create an exciting life. And part of that are, of course, relationships. But those relationships are going to be something that you add to your life. You create a life where if you would be alone for the rest of your life, if you would have no close relationship ever, you would still love what you're doing. You would still know, I'm choosing me. And then everybody else who comes into your life is an addition to that. So your relationship, if it's your best friend, if it's your romantic relationship, if it's anything of that source, a high-stake relationship is not supposed to be your solution. It's supposed to be a stable help, a stable inspiration, a stable companion towards where you're going. It's not taking you off course. It's amplifying who you are while you're amplifying where they're going. That's what we want. If you have to make a sacrifice on where you're going because of that person, it's not going to work. That person might inspire you, but the energy force still has to run through you. You have to create the path because you're the only one who knows where that path is going, and you have to dare to choose you. I know it's scary. I know you feel like you would stand on your own, but that's exactly where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to guide the way. We have insights most people don't have. So be the one who lives out those insights. Have your path, and then have somebody who complements you. Have this as one of your mantras. You want an exciting life and a boring relationship. That does not mean that your relationship is not fueling you. But every single time you have a relationship that is exciting long-term, it's because there's chaos there. This doesn't lead you towards where you want to lead. And a boring relationship also doesn't mean that you have somebody who's just a boring individual who pulls you down, who doesn't add anything to your life. We're not talking about a boring partner. We're talking about a boring relationship. You want an exciting partner. You want somebody who's actively going towards their goal as well, who will be a great companion at your side. And the same thing goes for friendships. The same thing goes for the people that you listen to, that you get inspired by. That being said, that doesn't mean that you have to cut out people from your life. I have seen great differences in the relationships I've had in my life just because I decided to be myself. Some people will psychologically distance themselves to you, and you can have great relationships with them from afar. But know that every single person and every single dynamic that you have in your life has to add to where you're going. Exciting life first. No relationship will ever be your solution. Remember, if you want to join our community and together create INFJ epic lives on our terms, individually, of course, but as a group, then join our amazing INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. We launch October 26th. Everything you might need to know, you can find through the links in the description. I'm so excited to see you there. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.